Welcome to Improve Your English Writing, video number 71. This is part one of a two-part format of source citation in MLA format. And this video is going to discuss writing an MLA InText source citation and citation placement and format. If you'd like to get notifications for the series, please click subscribe. If you like the video or you think others will find it useful, please click like. And check out links to videos and books in the description, like a link to the companion volume here. So source citation. Well, an in-text source citation is a brief parenthetical note in the running text. And by parenthetical, we're talking about something enclosed inside parentheses. And the parenthetical note points the reader to the works cited section at the end of the document. And the basic format for an MLA in-text source citation, you basically list the author's last name and page number in the text. So this is what it looks like. You would have some running text, and then to cite the source, you would have parentheses. You'd have the author and the page. So like Smith, page 110. This is what it looks like in the running text. So beyond the basic format, though, various source citation situations arise. So this is the basic format, but you have these various situations where you need to do something a little bit different. So the book covers, my book covers 14 of these situations. And in this video, I'm going to cover the 6 most common situations. So if you want additional situations, go to the companion volume, or you can always look up an online resource. It probably may or will probably have the 14 or more situations. So here are these situations. What do you do when you have, because here we're only listing one author with a page. So here's some of these situations. Let's go through these. So what do you do when you have 2 authors? Well, you just basically use and then the second author. So that means this source was written by Jones and Smith, and then page 110. So just use and you include the last name of the second author. What do you do when you have when a work is written by 3 or more authors? Well, you use the word et al. So you use the first author plus et al. So Jones et al. 110. This would mean Jones, and this and et al. Would indicate there's at least 2 more authors to this work. What do you do when you have different works from an author with the same last name? Like, let's say you had 2 books written by Smith, or 2 books written by someone with the last name Jones. What do you do in that situation? Well, what you do is you include the initials of the author's first name. So what you do is you just put up the second example. So if you had 2 books by Jones, then you'd, one's going to be an R. Jones and one's going to be an E. Jones. That way you can differentiate the authors with the same last name. That's how you do that situation. What about a work with an unknown author? Well, you basically substitute the work title for the author's name. If the work title is long, and no one really defines what long is, use an abbreviation, but the abbreviation guidelines should help you understand what is long. I'm going to call long like if it's 4 or more than 4 words, or 4 or more words. Maybe we should say 4 or more words, because it's going to be what you want to do, because the in-text source citation is meant to be brief, so you don't want something too long for the author. So basically, when you do an abbreviation, you want it 3 or fewer words is best. And the abbreviation's first word, so the first word of the abbreviation, must be the same word used to alphabetize the work and the works cited. So you can't have some, because the question becomes, Well, if you want to go look up that work in the works cited, how would you look it up? Well, because the key is whatever word you use first in the abbreviation must be the word that it's alphabetized by. And you want to italicize a book title or website name, and you enclose a title of a journal or website article in quotation marks. So some examples here, like I'll just put up the two examples. So the first example, Strengthening Youth, page 28. This means it has an unknown author, page 28. And it's a book because it's been italicized. Top 10 Sonnets, page 4. You would enclose a journal article, or this could actually be a website article. And then, well, I guess it wouldn't be a website article because websites don't have page numbers. So this is a journal or a magazine article. What do you do when the author has released multiple works? So, this author just doesn't have one work. They have, maybe they've released the book every 3 years and they've been publishing for 20 years. So, they got, let's just say they got 7 books or something. So what do you do? So what you do is you include an abbreviated title with the author name. And just like the previous slide, we want to use an abbreviation of the work title with 3 or fewer words. And just like the last slide, the abbreviation's first word must be the same word that's used to alphabetize the work in the works cited. This is easier because you do see who the author is, and you can just go down and find the work title, but it is supposed to be the first word of the abbreviation should be the word that's used to alphabetize the work in the works cited. Italicize a book title or website name, and enclose a title of a journal or website article in quotation marks. And you want to place a comma after the author's name. So it's going to be author's name, comma, abbreviated title, page number. I think I have 2 examples. Here we go. We have the 2 examples. Smith, comma, Neoclassical Ballet, page 125. This is a book because this is in italics. And the journal article, Smith, comma, Dancing, page 30. So that's what you do because Smith has written both of these, and you need to indicate which work it is by this Smith. What about a citation with multiple references? So you actually have a piece of information and you have multiple sources. What do you do? Well, you separate the multiple references with a semicolon. So it's reference, semicolon, reference, semicolon. You just keep, if you have five sources, you would have each one, you would have 4 semicolons separating the 5 sources. And you can list the sources alphabetically, chronologically, or by order of importance. Basically, any order that you want to do. If you don't know, some other style guides have they have a specified order, or they specify the order. But the MLA doesn't matter. An example: so you have 2 sources here, one in blue, one in this purple. Jones 90 and Smith 10. So you're citing both sources. So you put the first source, semicolon, the second source. So now that's the basics of a source citation. So remember, the MLA is just you enclose the author's name and page number in parentheses in the text. So what about placement and format of the source citation? Well, the best place to insert an in-text source citation is at the end of a sentence and before the period. So this is what it looks like. If you're wondering what an in-source citation looks like, if you haven't watched any of the other videos, you can say, would be something like this. Everyone can improve their English writing. Wick, page 86. So this blue comment, this means you would go, this is pointing to the, this statement is sourced to Wick, page 86. So you can actually go to the works cited section, go down to, since everything's will be alphabetized by author's last name, you go down to the reference written by Wick, and there you would see the reference there, and then it's page 86 in that source. An in-text citation may, and I stress may, also be placed at the end of a phrase or clause and before any punctuation marks. So this is saying you can actually place it at the end of a basically phrase or clause like this. The medication causes dizziness, and the in-source citation is Wick, page 86. I'm just using the same source. Comma, because it's needs to be before any punctuation mark. But the side effect seems to go away after several days. You'd probably do this format because you're actually citing the source for the first clause, and the second clause, maybe it's sourced to a different thing, or it's not really found in that source. So in this case, this entire clause up here can be sourced to this source right here, or this clause can be sourced to this entire sentence here. Mainly, it's going to be you're only sourcing this clause right here, not the second one. So, but you can place it after or at the end of a phrase or clause. And for direct quotation, you place the in-text source citation after the closing quotation mark and before the period. So see videos 66 and 67. So it would look like this. The introduction read, comma, beware of bad punctuation, close quote. Then you have the source, the in-text source citation right here, and then the period. So it's quote, closing quotation mark, source citation, or in-text source citation, period. That's how you do doing the placement for a direct quotation. And in-text source citations are often written as either a narrative or parenthetical format. Now, basically, in all of the videos up to this point, you've seen the parenthetical format, but they can be written in a narrative or parenthetical format. So the narrative formatted citation contains the author's last name in the running text and places the page number in parentheses. So it looks like this. Clark, this is the author, Clark showed in avoiding the number 13 that many educated adults cling to forms of folk magic. So here you've already had if you put Clark here, Clark 19, well, you've already talked that this is from Clark. This is the reason you don't have to put it in the parenthetical comment, because putting Clark here would sort of be redundant. So Clark showed this. So this is called a narrative formatted citation because the author's name is in the running text. So the parenthetical formatted citation places both the author's name and the page number in parentheses. This is what we've been seeing in all these videos. Educated adults, so the sentence would probably be written like this. Educated adults often cling to various forms of folk magic, like avoiding the number 13. Clark, page 19. So here's the source citation for this statement, because the author's name does not appear in the running text, so you put it in the parenthetical comment. Well, that's it for this video. If you would like to get notifications for this series, please click subscribe. If you like the video, please click like, and check out links to books and videos in the description.